Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual North Metro. I'm Reverend Michael Torphy.
I'm Reverend Valerie Torphy.
And this is Sheila and Greg Fawson, our producers. And
Hi,
Stephan
everybody.
Anthony, who does our prayers and our affirmations. And we have Robin Hackett, our special guest musical inspiration, which she always is. So we're going to get started with some inspiration from Robin.
Yay!
Oh, wait, I want to pray first. Silly me.
You want to skip the praying?
Yeah. Okay, so join me by closing your eyes, moving into the center of your being, opening to the good that God is, recognizing that there's only one power, one presence, one infinite eternal life force.
Yes.
It is here, it is there, it is everywhere. It is my life, it's Reverend Valley's life, it's Greg and Sheila and Robin and Stephan and all those who are tuned in today and all those who habit this planet. One life, one perfect expression. And so I bless this day, naming it good and very good, knowing that everything unfolds in all its glory and splendor, knowing that each and every individual gets exactly what they come here to get, that we're all inspired to live life to its fullest. I know that as this service moves on, that it does so with grace and ease and inspiration. For this, I'm eternally grateful, knowing that the word is complete and now fulfilling itself as our experience. I release it into the law and the love and allow it to be. Together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
And so it is.
Yeah.
Now we get Robin.
Yay.
Yeah. So happy to see everyone as always. And so I invite you and I invite everyone that's listening in to let's just tune in and lift our vibration and send that vibration out into the world, wherever you can send it out, whoever you speak to today, whoever you run into today, run into them with this vibration. I send my love over the mountain. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. Let's all sing that again. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. Let's send our joy. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the seas. I send my joy into the heavens. It returns to me. Some peace. I send my peace over the mountain. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. Let's send more peace. I send my peace over the mountains. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and peace returns to me. And peace returns to me. And peace returns
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's a very appropriate song in these days that we're experiencing.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're going to take care of some business and we'll be back to you for another song.
Okay.
All right.
So like us and check in on Facebook at CSL North Metro. Check out our website at cslnorthmetro.org. You can go to contact us and add yourself to the email list so that you get emails about what's going on and the links and all of those things. You can go to the prayer request to send us prayer requests, to read the prayers and the affirmations that Stephan has written, not only for this week, but for several months in the past.
Mhm.
And you can check out the blogs that Reverend Michael writes, and it's time for a January one.
Oh, it
so you
is.
can expect a new one really soon. You can also join our discussion group on Thursdays, and we do that, talk about articles from the Science of Mind magazine. Today's title is Treasures You Leave Behind. The guest artist you've already met, Robin Hackett, and our reading today is from The Pathway of Roses by Christian D. Larson. And that's it for me. So,
Stephan.
yes.
Good morning.
Morning.
Here you are.
And here are our affirmations for today and this week. I set the intention to loving, caring, healing part of the world. Each moment is the perfect time for me to embrace my wholeness and unity with Spirit. I am the personification of God's love and joy. Inspiration and guidance bless every step I take. My joy and peace come directly from my heart's center. I am a bright and expanding light in the world, always, and so it is. And today's reading is from The Pathway of Roses by Christian D. Larson. Ye are the light of the world. Do not hide your spirituality in your feelings or your emotions. There is power in the Spirit. Live this power and give personal expressions to everything that the Spirit may contain. Then you will demonstrate to the world that the way of the Spirit is the true way. When you are lifted up, hundreds and even thousands will come and go where you are going. Therefore, let the full glory of the Spirit shine in your life. Let power from on high manifest itself in everything you may think or say or do, and great shall be your reward, both in this world and in the world to come. The spiritual life deprives you of nothing that has real worth and gives you more and more of everything that has high worth.
Mhm.
Agree with your adversary quickly. There is a spiritual side to everything. Enter into harmony with this spiritual side, and the discord that seems to exist on the personal side will disappear. Forget those elements that are at variance and think only of those states that are perfectly at one with each other. You can easily find them. We find everything we seek, and whoever goes out to find harmony will discover that there is more harmony in the world than anything else except in life itself.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Good.
Okay, let's bring Robin in.
Become one of my favorite tunes, and I didn't know this tune before. And it's by Bob Dylan. And a lot of people think it's about Forever Young. I actually sang it at an event the other day, and the person who's older said, "Oh, I don't like this song because it's about being young." But I think it's about being young of spirit and living your best life.
Yes.
May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the sky and climb on every rung. May you stay forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young. May you grow up to be righteous, may you grow up to be true. May you always know the truth and see the light surrounding you. May you always be courageous, stand upright and be strong. May you stay forever young. Forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young. May your hands always be busy, may your feet always be swift. May you have strong foundations for when the winds change to shift. May your heart always be joyful, may you always sing your song. May you stay forever young. Forever young, forever young, yeah. May you stay forever young. Forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young. May you stay forever young. Forever young.
That was so beautiful. Thank you so much.
I'm feeling younger already. So we're going to do our thing, and we'll be back to you in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, or so.
See you then.
Bye.
When I think of forever young, I think of children and how they make an impact on our life, how they change everything. Any new couple that's been married for a short time who've had a child come in their life can really know how much of an impact that makes on your life and how it changes everything, how you think maybe differently, maybe you don't want to party as much anymore. It just makes a great impact. And for me, I've said this so many times, that we're here to live for eternity, not for this time on the earth, although this time on the earth is important for our eternal journey, but we're here to be all we can be. In life, we buy homes, we buy cars, we work, and we do all that stuff. But more importantly is what do we do that impacts other people's lives? How do we affect people and leave an impression on them that they may want to change something in their lives? What we're here for is to reveal our holiness, because our holiness is eternal. And as we reveal more of who we are in a holy, sanctified way, then lives will change. And I like to tell stories. And I have a couple of stories that I want to share with you. One about somebody else's life that I came upon the story, and it makes sense for what we're trying to talk about today. And the other story is a story from my own life. One is very huge, and the other one was huge to me, but may not be that huge to others. But I'm going to tell the stories anyway. First one takes place in the 1950s at a store called Sixers. And Sixers was a store owned by Mr. Sixter and run by him and his son-in-law. And it was in the South Bronx, which at that time was mostly Jewish. And their motto was everything for babies. So Mr. Sisker was very busy because it was the baby boom. So his business was really busy. But one day it got so busy that he could barely handle what was going on. Him and his son-in-law were having a hard time keeping up. So he ran out into the street and he grabbed the first young man that he saw and said, "Son, would you like to come in and help us? There's a chance to make some money." And at the time, and he said, "We'll pay the top dollar for your help." And at the time, the top dollar was 75 cents an hour, if you can believe it. 75 cents an hour. So the young man said, "Okay, I'll jump in there." And he worked a full day. And Mr. Sisker was so impressed by him that he decided to hire him part-time. So this young man became an employee of the store, part-time employee. And Mr. Sisker got to know this young man and found out his roots were from Jamaica. And they started talking to each other and just getting along really well. The young man decided to, since the main language of people coming in the store was Yiddish, this young man of Jamaican roots decided to learn Yiddish. And he got pretty good at it. And when he turned 17, he decided to go to junior college. And he went on to junior college and then went to a four-year college to finish his studies. And he did really well. So he was working at this job 15 to 20 hours a week and going to school at the same time. So he was a busy young man. So skip forward to 1993. This young man he became the Joint Chief Staff and he was directing the Cold War. I'm sure you've already guessed who it is. Do you guess who it is? Colin Powell.
Oh, wow.
So Colin Powell, during the same time, decided he was going to go to the Holy Land and meet the Prime Minister. So when he finally got to meeting the Prime Minister, he said in Yiddish, "We can talk in your language." And the Prime Minister was so shocked and impressed that they decided to do their meeting all in Yiddish. And as you know, the story goes, he went on to become Secretary of State of the United States. And according to the story, the acts of kindness that Mr. Sisker put on him, he never forgot. And it affected his life in a big way. And those things that we do, and maybe like Mr. Sisker was out of necessity to hire this young man, but because these two paths met, he had an effect on Colin Powell's life, all his life. And that reminds me of an experience I had with an old man. My family, we lived in San Francisco, and north of San Francisco is a place called Russian River. And it's a place where you can go and rent a cabin and just enjoy the summertime. And my family decided to rent a cabin. We went up there, and I made friends of this old man at the cabin next door. And he's an interesting old guy and somebody that I related to. And we'd sit, and he invited me to have tea. And I said, "Okay, I'll have tea." I was only about 14 or 15 years old. And he talked about things he learned in life and his time in World War I and his family. And it was just interesting to me. So somehow the subject came up about chopping down trees. And he says, "I can chop down a tree and land it on a dime." I thought, "No way, you can't do that." He goes, "Yeah, I can do it. You want me to prove it to you?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So he says, "Okay, we got to go up to the top of the hill and find a tree." So he took off and started running up the top of the hill. And I I'm 15 and I start running too, but I can barely keep up with this guy. And he was in his 70s, probably late 70s. And I was wheezing and hacking and trying to keep up with him. Finally, we get up to the top, and I thought, wow, this guy is amazing. Forget about chopping down a tree and laying on a dime, but I want to be like that. I mentally remember telling myself, I want to be like that. I want to be full of life and have vigor and energy and be forever young, just like I saw him. So he said, you ready? And I said, yeah. He said, put a dime wherever you want to put it. So I put a dime on the ground, chopped the tree down and landed on the dime. And that story has stayed with me all my life. Like Colin Powell, both his elder and the elder in my life made an impression on us that we could never forget. They're alive still within us. And even though I was only there that weekend for like 3 days, he made an impression on my life that's lasted a lifetime. Being a minister, I've done funerals and memorials, and what I find interesting is the way I do a memorial, I do whatever I do at the beginning, and then I invite people to come up and talk about the person that has passed. And even though a lot of them, I didn't know who this person was, by the end of the sharing, it was like I know him all my life. It's like his life affected all these people, and every person had a different story to tell about this person who has passed and how they affected their life and how they want to live a certain quality that person had. And it's just a wonderful thing that we can go through life and not only reveal who we are in a spiritual way, but give who we are and receive who we are, because there's trillions of people on this earth, and each one could have an effect on my life and change it forever. Each person I meet, I could have an effect on my life and never even know what took place. A lot of us, when we pass, we have a will and we give possessions to people, and that's nice. But what's better is, what did you give to those that you love and care for? How much do you have? How much more do you have to give? How much more can you affect? How many more people can you affect, whether you know you've done that or not? God is through us. God is for us. Ernest Holmes says, God can only give to us what God can do through us. God can only give to us what God can do through us. So if we let God do through us, then it'll always be good. It'll always be something profound and magnificent. And it will affect other people's lives. Mm-hmm. We're here to leave the treasures that we have given, the treasures that we have learned. As I learned, others will learn. And it's a gift that we'll keep on giving, because if I affect somebody's life in a personal way and it changes them in some way, and they take on the quality that they see I had, then that person will pass it on to another person. And it goes on for an infinity. So we are eternal beings. We are here to live life through its fullness. And just like that old man that was in my life, just like the old man that was in General Powell's life, there are those that are in your life that you will never forget. And you will pass on what they has given to you, and then you will pass on what has been. I had a hard time saying that one. You will pass on what they gave to you, etc., etc., etc. Go ahead, honey.
Okay.
Get me out of this one.
So when I started thinking about this title, the first thing that I thought about was my personal acts of kindness. And then I went a little further and I thought about just like times you don't even think about those kinds of kindness. And I remember when I was in practitioner training, and one of the things we had to do was go to a funeral. And so this person that I knew at our center was going to a funeral for, I don't remember who it was, And I got there, and the minister didn't know who it was either. And it was so obvious that the talk had nothing to do with the person that we were there to celebrate. And so I've always been so grateful to do a celebration of life, to have that experience of, if we knew the person, we know them a little better by the end. And if we didn't know the person, we do know them by the end. And I remember the young man who died. His mom was really close to us in Fresno. Mm-hmm. And we were there with him. She requested several of us be there with him when he was passing. And then we had the celebration of life service at our center, and then the whole place was full. And that lasted a really long time with everybody getting up and talking about him. And it was so wonderful to have that experience of him being alive in each one of us then after that. Yeah. So I just wanted to say that, because I just think that's an important thing, that we can then carry forth that person with us in that way. So I was thinking about the time I got to spend with my grandparents when I was young, and we moved away when I was 4, so I don't have a really lot of memories of them. But the memories that I do have, I just really cherish. And my grandmother used to just say the funniest things, and I won't repeat them here because it's okay. But I can remember the night I was staying with them, and I was 3, possibly 4, but we moved when I was 4, so probably 3. And I changed my mind at the last minute and decided that I didn't really want to stay all night with them. So they called my dad, and my dad came to get me. But by the time he got there, he decided I really did want to spend the night with them. And my dad let me do that. And I've always remembered that, the kindness of my grandparents while I was going through that, and the kindness of my dad when he got there to allow me to change my mind a little bit and decide what I did want and what I didn't want. And I sometimes recognize that in our grandchildren too. It's like at really young ages, sometimes they think, oh, I can't really stay this long because I need to go home. And then they start having fun again. And then they remember, oh yeah, I'm safe here, I can stay. And so it's important to me to pass that kindness and that accepting and that beingness, not only to my grandchildren, but also I'm really looking forward to when we have a youth and family center too, because I got the opportunity to do that with young people. And it's just amazing how it changes a young person when they really get, I'm safe here. We had one little boy who had some real challenges, and he had a thing happen one day. And not only, he was really upset about it. And I asked him afterwards, I said, why, can you tell me why you're so upset? And he's like, I think you're going to kick me out. And I almost started to cry, because it's like, not only did we not want to kick him out, we wanted to be that presence for him while he did his healing, but all of the other children that were part of our youth center embraced him like that too. And so that boy, who was 8, learned, here's a place where I'm safe, here's a place where I can grow, here's a place. And I believe, I don't know what he's doing now, but I believe that those times make a difference, that really lasts forever in our life, that we remember those places when we were safe, and we remember those places when we were accepted just exactly like we are, whether it's, perfect, or today I'm not perfect, and that's okay too.
Tell him how he introduced himself to you.
What did do you remember?
Yeah, he said,
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
He said he was homeschooling because he got kicked out of school.
And then he had
anger issues.
Yeah, he told Reverend Valerie that he had anger issues. And how profound is that for this young little being to come into a place that he's never been before, and confess that he had anger issues?
And he was just so dear. And I remember when the situation was going on, his sister was so embarrassed. And I was just so proud of our whole little group. There were, I don't know how many were there that day. There were between like 10 and 15 kids there. And all of the kids just totally accepted him being how he was being at the time he was being. And so he went and sat in a corner and cried. And so I let him be there for just a little while. And then I went over and said, so are you ready for a hug now? And then come back to the group. And he just looked at me. And so he got his hug and he came back to the group and everybody just accepted him back. And I thought, the world should be like that. We should all be able to be in that space where we have the issue that we had, we're through it, we're over it, and everybody's okay with us because that's who we are. We're love, and we're so that's one of the things. And it can be something as intense as that, or it can just be, I can think of times when I'm standing in a store and the person in front of me, or some kind of a line, and the person in front of me is just really rude to that person who's trying to help them, and getting up and you can just see the fear in their eyes. Oh my gosh, here might come another one. And then to just, have a smile and ask them how they're doing and tell them everything's going to be okay, and how it's just like, you can just see the relief. And just those tiny little things can make a difference in somebody's life. I also think about the spiritual healing that we do. When we were in class, we always talked about, when I'm doing my healing, I'm healing my present, I'm healing the past, and I'm healing what's going forward. Mm-hmm. So talk a little bit about that, would you?
Well, there are families that have had a history of abuse. And one, a grandparent would pass it on to the next kid, and the next kid would grow up and pass it on to the next person. And it was a chain of passing this abuse on from generation to generation. Somebody sometime awakens and say, that's enough, I'm not going to do it anymore. And as they begin healing themselves, because there's still that abuse within them, they can overcome the abuse and be the healer for the next generation. So as they've healed themselves, they're changing the pattern of generation after generation by being peaceful to their children, and then their children go on and pass on the goodness that their parents were. And what I know is, and I know it for myself, I invite you to know it for yourself, is that as that takes place, it goes back in generations and it heals those souls that have moved on and are now free of, and it's about forgiveness. So as the person that makes the choice to no longer be an abuser, no longer pass on abusing, has the choice to say, I forgive those who have abused me. And then it goes back, it goes backwards and forwards. Is that clear?
Yeah, I think so. And it doesn't have to be that. It could be anything. It could be breaking the cycle of alcoholism, or it could, whatever it is that we're here to learn and to heal. We not only heal ourselves, we heal. They now know that those things travel in our DNA. Mm-hmm. And so we not only heal ourselves, but we heal that DNA, that we heal that strand of DNA, which is an amazing thing when you think about it. So if we let our light shine, if we just allow ourselves to be who we are and allow ourselves to be that light that we came here to be, we have no way of knowing what lives we're changing and how we're changing them. I remember we were walking around the lake by our home in Grand Junction, and this man came running up to us and said, "Are you Reverend Michael?" And he said, "Yeah." And he said, I just need to tell you, you changed my life. And so we just never, we usually don't get that kind of feedback, right. But we never know how, just by doing our best to be kind and do our spiritual work and do our spiritual growth and be loving, we never know what differences we're making for other people too. So that was the first thing I thought about, is how we personally interact. And then I thought about people like Colin Powell, and I was specifically thinking about Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. and Mother Teresa, and how they really changed the world, and we're just very aware of that. And I don't mean to say they're the only ones, they're just the ones I thought of first. And then I went to what was going on politically this week, and the rioters storming the Capitol building, and how shocking it was, and how I think my first feelings were, it's hard for me to even understand that things like this are happening in our country. And I think about that, and then I think that that it happens all over the world, and we've been a little cushioned maybe from it, and feel a little safer, and we're understanding that those things can happen everywhere. And so, at first it's like there's shock and there's anger, and then there's understanding that we're going through chaos. And we talked about chaos before, and how chaos is danger and opportunity, and there how things happen, new things happen because of the chaos. And the way out of that chaos is through it. We don't get through the chaos by avoiding it or by not acknowledging it's there, because resistance keeps the chaos there, and it makes life uncomfortable, and it keeps us from the higher order where the interconnection and unity are revealed. And so it's what I'm trying to say is, we can't stay in our feelings. We have to, I get to look at the situation and look at what's the spiritual relevance of what's going on here. And for me, the spiritual relevance is that I heard over and over and over how noticeable the difference was of how those white men, and I don't know if there were women or not, but mostly white armed men carrying a Confederate flag, were treated compared to what was happening with people marching in the Black Lives Matter marches, and especially after the George Floyd murder. I think that's a really big, I know that people have been living this for years, but I think it's really important that it's being reported on the news that way. That, wow, we really do have some healing to do. We really have some things we need to handle in a better way. I think also, I'm finally hearing some people who were supporting Trump realizing, wow, this has gone like way too far. This is not how I want to be. I don't want to support a person who's acting like this. I don't want to support a person who's inciting this. I think that social media is finally having to come to some terms about what just allowing everybody to say whatever they want. And yes, I understand that we have freedom of press, and inciting a riot and inciting something to happen where people get killed does not fall under free speech to me.
Well, they always use the example of running into the theater and yelling fire. That's not free speech. That's using language to endanger and hurt people, and there's a difference. And I think that the pendulum goes both ways. We took freedom to a point where anybody could do anything they want, to now moving towards, you got to be responsible for the acts you do, and everybody should feel safe and feel free.
Yeah, there's consequences for putting other people's lives in danger. There's consequences for that. And so quantum psychology talks about when we don't allow the energy to flow, we create the chaos. So we have to allow the energy to flow. And so I'm just looking at this from the spiritual point of view. if I stay in that place of anger, and if I stay in that place of blame, and that certainly doesn't mean that the people who are doing the things that they're doing shouldn't have the natural consequences for what they're doing. It means that if I stay in that place of anger and I stay in that place of blame, then I'm not the healing presence on this planet to allow this to move through and us to move to a higher plane as a people, as a country, and as a nation. We can all move to a place where we all accept and understand everyone in this country, everyone on this planet has a reason to be here, and that we're all spiritual beings and that we're all one. We're not somebody over here and somebody over there. We're all one. And so this is an opportunity for us to look beyond, for me, the pain I personally feel and the anger I might personally feel, and get to that place of being the change we want to see, that like Gandhi said, of doing what Ernest Holmes would say, and that is adding our energy to where we're going and not what we don't want.
Exactly.
Because that's what we talk about all the time in religious sciences. Put our attention where we're going and not where we don't want to be.
So to draw this to a conclusion, I just invite you to know that you being this spiritual being and living a spiritual life may not affect as many people as Colin Powell or as Gandhi or Martin Luther King or Mandela or Mother Teresa, or all those people who can affect huge amounts of people. But us living our life, affecting 1 or 2 or 3 people here and there, just one at a time, is as effective, because as one life changes, the energy of the planet changes, and who we are makes a difference. So I know anybody that's watching this right now is living a spiritual life, otherwise they wouldn't be tuning into this. And give yourself credit, because you've probably impacted so many lives that you're not even aware of, and it reveals your importance of being here in this time and space. We love you, we bless you, and we thank you for joining our center. Yes?
Yes.
Would you like prayer?
I do. So I just invite you to close your eyes. Just take a deep breath. And maybe another one, and recognize that you're breathing in love. And breathe out any pain or any fear or any emotions that you might have. And just center into this space of oneness, this space of peace, this space where we recognize that there is that one divine intelligence that is everywhere and everything and everyone. It is all the things we can see, all the things we can't see, everything we can touch and feel. It is everything we can hear and all we cannot. It is all that we are aware of and so much more that we're not. It is from the smallest grain of sand to the largest star, everything in between and everything beyond. And so I just take this moment to recognize that right where I am, God is. Right where Reverend Michael is, God is. Right where each one of you is, God is. Right where everyone on the planet is, God is. And that we are whole, perfect, and complete. We are spiritual beings who are here in this mortal form for a brief period of time, and nothing can hurt, harm, or endanger that spirit, that eternal being that we are. We're here to expand and become more of who we came here to be, and to grow and to be that love and be that change and be that place in the world. And so I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to remember to focus on that which is good and that which is mine to do and that which is mine to share, and just know the oneness, the allness, the isness, the peace, the joy, the love, and the harmony. And to each one of us be that compassionate place for others to heal. And so in absolute gratitude, I pass this word to Reverend Michael.
And so I invite you to picture in your mind's eye your heart. Just see it. And see it beating. And every beat, allow yourself to know that each heartbeat is the beat of love, is the beat of peace, is the beat of harmony. And as your heart beats, it joins all the hearts on this planet beating in synchronicity. And it is the heartbeat of God. And just imagine that as every beat of your heart takes place, you grow a little more, you expand a little more, you become more loving, you become more kind, you become more generous. You can become more aware of the God as you. And know that this heartbeat is the healing of the planet. And so with gratitude for each person that's joined us today, gratitude for being alive, awake, and aware in this time and space, gratitude for the planet, gratitude for all my family, all my friends, all our colleagues, gratitude for this and so much more. I can now let go, let God, and allow it to be. And together we say, and so it is.
Ashe, amen, and woohoo! Okay. Do we have some music?
Yeah, let's have some music.
Gosh, oh, so funny. You is right. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us all the sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no country. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Oh no, 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 no. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine no possession. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of men. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, no. I hope someday you will join us, oh, and the world will live as one. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. No, 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 no. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. Yeah. We'll live as one. Oh, yeah. Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Yeah, yeah. Where troubles melt like lemon drops, away up on the chimney tops, that's where you'll find me. You may say I'm a dreamer, oh, but I'm not the only one. No, 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 no. I hope someday you will join us. You will join us, and the world will live as one. Yeah. We'll live as one. Yeah, yeah. We are one. We are one. We are one. Yeah.
Oh,
That's so beautiful.
thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I had total chills when you went into the Over the Rainbow song and back, and it was like just genius.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. We love you.
Yes, we
And
do.
we get one more song.
Yes,
in a
we
few minutes.
do.
We'll be back to you.
All right. Thank you.
So imagine your generosity. And imagine it filling this basket. Imagine it doing some wonderful work in the world, changing lives, inspiring people, uplifting people. And imagine no matter what you give, that gift is multiplied in the amount of people it touches. So I ask you to get in touch with your heart and see if this is a time that you want to give, and just be free and give, and know that what you give comes back multiplied. How do they give, Valerie?
Well, if you have Venmo, you can just put your phone over that QR code and give that way, or you can go to our website, cslnorthmetro.org, and there are a couple ways to give there. We do take checks too, and our address is on the website for those of you who don't do all these other fancy things. So, All right. So
join me together and first rub your hands together and point it towards the screen, and just imagine that the love you give multiplies in the world, and repeat after me. I give freely.
I give freely.
I give from my heart,
I give from my heart,
asking nothing in return,
asking nothing in return,
knowing that it goes out and blesses many people,
knowing that it goes out and blesses many people,
touches many lives,
touches many lives,
uplifts and inspires,
and inspires,
and so much more.
and so much
For
more.
this I give thanks
For this I give thanks,
and allow it to be.
allow it to be.
And so it
And
is.
so it is. Okay. I think it's time for Robin again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Start the day in gratitude, end it in gratitude, and be in gratitude during the day as well, too.
Mhm.
Today I saw the sun. I stood out in the rain and watched the eagle fly again. I heard a baby cry and walked right through the storm and felt the wind upon my face. And all the while I could not help but see the life that lives and breathes in you and me. And I'm peaceful, yeah. And I'm grateful. And I'm thankful, oh Lord. Yes, I am. And I'm hopeful, yes. And I'm so full. And I'm grateful, oh, I am so peaceful, yes. I'm grateful. I'm thankful, oh, yes I am. I'm hopeful, yeah. I am so full and I'm thankful, oh, I am. Yes, I'm thankful, oh, I am. Oh, I am. Yes, I am. So grateful, so thankful. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Oh, so grateful, yes. So peaceful, yes. So hopeful, yes. So thankful, yes. I'm thankful, I am. I'm thankful, I am. I'm thankful, I am. I
Mhm.
Wow.
Thanks, Robin. Thanks.
Beautiful.
We're so blessed to have you as
Yes, we
our
are.
spiritual
Thank
center.
you.
Thank you.
And you know, one of the good things about having to do service this way is it doesn't matter where you are, we can still have you.
Wow.
Isn't that lovely?
You ready for listening?
So great. Yeah.
Yeah. So join us on Zoom right
Cool.
after the service.
Yeah.
The link is in the chat, right?
Do it.
Link is in the chat,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
Yep, it is.
You want to benedict us out?
Okay, so close your eyes once more. And as we embrace the name and nature of our being, knowing that God and it is all good, we send out the waves of change and we embrace the chaos, knowing that from it comes infinite good,
Yes.
that all those things that we say we are comes true. Freedom for all,
Mm-hmm.
liberty for all,
Mhm.
justice for all.
Yes, yes, yes.
And that as we hold this truth to be true in our heart, that it spreads across the country and indeed across the world. And I give thanks. Thanks for each individual that joined us today. Thanks for those that couldn't. Sending out blessings and gratitude for Greg and Sheila and Stephan and Robin for this wonderful time we've
Yes,
had
yes,
in
yes.
sharing our service. For this and so much more, I release, I let go, and I allow it to be. And together we say, and so it
So it
is.
is.
So it is.
Have a great week, everybody.
Okay.
Well, those of you who want to talk on Zoom.
Yes,
All right. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay.
thank you.
Great message. Thank you. All right. See you all.